Round one, fight!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grim Reaper Gamers ReaperCast. The Grim Reaper Gamers are a 25 and over gaming community with members spanning the globe, playing games across all genres, but our roots are in first-person shooters. Bring your thick skin, your drink of choice, and grab your controllers. GRG members are on nightly with official community nights every Wednesday. How in the hell is everybody? I am Johnny Hustler. This is the ReaperCast. Tonight, since you can't see anybody anymore, I'll just tell you they're in random locations. Tonight with us on the ReaperCast is, first, the co-host, the guy that helps keep me in check and makes fun of Nebraska incessantly, Jammer. How the hell are you, buddy? What you playing? What you drinking?
You know, I've been really busy. It's supposed to be summer where you're supposed to be laid back. I haven't been playing much because I've been too busy. But I'm drinking Thimble Island Brewery, which is a Connecticut brewery that I went to on Saturday. I'm drinking their Black and Tan, which is wonderful. And Johnny, I don't know why you think that I'm being mean to you. I'm just here to support you, man. I'm here for you.
Okay. And by the way, a friend of mine made this comment to me earlier today, and I have to agree, and you brought it to mind. Summer seems to be even worse nowadays as far as schedules go than the school year. I mean, it's amazing, but unreal. So also joining us tonight in the panel of four is the sexiest man on audio now. From the Jersey Shore, it is one of our admins, Grex, the man who programs the site. How are you? What you playing? What you drinking?
Hey, what's going on? You're the one with the sexy voice there, the Larry King voice. But
I got the face made for radio, though.
Yeah. But I'm drinking some Joseph's Brow Summer Brew. Trying to finish this guy off. He's not too bad, but not too good either. But and then playing, typical Halo Monday nights and Black Desert. That's my deal right now. My addiction.
No, you were still behind Didge in terms of hours compared to what he does in Ark. So
Probably.
But I don't even want to know how many hours you've done that game, whether it's away from keyboard or not. You have every day it's like, he's in BDO. Are you away from keyboard a lot, or are you actually in game?
I'm actually away from keyboard a lot because I can minimize to tray, and then I basically forget about it and leave it so I can collect. It's a grind game, so getting money and stuff like that to buy gear and takes forever. So sometimes I minimize the tray and I forget about it.
In Grex's defense, half of the developers at Wildcard do not have as much time in Ark as Digital has in the game.
And that's the problem with the latest patch, I think.
Oh, probably right there. And that fourth voice that you heard coming back for this third or fourth time we've had you back.
This is the first time you've had me back. Second time on the show, but
second on the show. I thought we had you in there.
Skype took a shit, so it felt like 2 times.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we just had to record twice during that one show. So technically twice. By actual numbers 3 times, but returning to the show, our buddy Clem. Clem, how you doing? What you playing and what you drinking?
I'm gonna go in reverse order. I'm drinking. I got a Kettle One Gimlet. Jammer was disappointed in me the last time I was on that I wasn't drinking a Gimlet. And then I have on standby a Lagunitas Little Something Something, just in case, so I don't have to get up and get a beer. As far as playing, been playing a lot of Ark up until recently. There's been a couple of problems. One, I'm part of the preview program, and there was some conflict with the latest preview program update that happened on Saturday and ran till Monday or Tuesday. Then we were able to get back in and play again, and then the latest patch dropped and has dicked up the ability to save any server progress if you've been on the center map. So I'm kind of shifting, I think, gears to GTA. That way, the next time we have a GTA online night, I will be ready to go.
Oh, more on that GTA night a little later in the show.
Set me up there, man.
Hey, Jammer.
Do you ever see people can't see this on camera anymore, which this is a shame because anytime anybody mentions preview program, you see Johnny start getting shivers and shakes because he knows it's coming.
The video is on GrimReaperGamers.com. It's in the forums at forums.GrimReaperGamers.com. The proof is there. It's the Zapruder film of the GRG.
I mean, people in the community would think that I'm friends with John, and he would think that, Lala's friends with John, yet for some reason he just will not allow us to be part of the preview program, and it's very disappointing.
It's really
I
hard.
don't
It
know
takes all of about 8 seconds to go into the preview program app and send an invite.
Yeah, and he won't do it.
I think the video
He won't do it.
The video is 20 seconds. I sent invites to you and Lala. They were there. I can't help it. Microsoft rightfully hates you two.
How do I get
That's
lumped
not
in
my
with him?
fault.
I understand them hating him. What did I do?
That's not my fault. They hear you make fun of Nebraska. Those guys in Seattle. I got a brother up there.
Say, what, Microsoft is corporate in Nebraska now? The preview?
No, but I got a brother up there, so they're putting in a good word for us. Well, I'm playing a lot of Ark, but on PC of late. I need to get on the Xbox server, get in there and help out, especially since I hear a lot of randoms are starting to get in there. Kind of make some things interesting on that server. And I will tell you what right now, and to kind of give you an idea what might be going on with that Xbox patch, they had 11 patches in the last week on the PC version. In fact, I think we're up to 13 now since the version that the Xbox is supposed to be up to now. We've had 13 patches since.
How does it affect your mods when they patch?
So far, so good, because the mods I have are guys that keep on it pretty good. You kind of got two classes of mods on that game. You have the ones that those guys are hardcore. They're always keeping up with it. They're always keeping it going. And if there's a problem, there's a patch for the mod shortly after. Then you got the ones that you see haven't updated since like October of last year and don't get touched at all. So who knows, if it works, you're lucky. So as far as what I'm drinking in honor of the 4th, I'm drinking a big old can of Patriotism, a Budweiser with some tomato juice in there. So I'm having a red beer or several. So interesting couple weeks in gaming. I think first thing we want to talk about, how are our wallets doing? The big old walleting of summer 2016, the Steam sales have come and gone. Xbox and PlayStation's in their second week of the mid-year sale. Xbox has their big summer sale going on. Are we broke yet? Have our wives left us?
I was away for part of the Steam sale. It was funny when there was an hour left on the Steam sale. No, less than that. There was like 10 minutes left. And I was cutting the grass and everything. Holy crap. And I ran in, and then I felt the panic and watching the timer go down as I'm throwing like a couple things into my cart. And it was like almost like a game show at that point. Because it's like, you got to get your last fix in before it's too late. Then the problem is that Xbox does this thing, a week later. And you're like, really? I'm buying games for $5 on Steam. Now, granted, some of them are older games that I'm getting, but it's just so underwhelming now. You get excited thinking, oh, cool, their big summer sale. Now I can buy a bunch of crap from them. I buy crap all the time on Steam that I'll probably never play. And I don't know about the PlayStation sale, but the Xbox sale does not compel me to do the same thing.
I haven't bought a single thing on the consoles yet.
The lure isn't there. It's the whole mystique of the Steam sale that gets you.
Well, they're just cheaper. I mean, GTA was cheaper on Steam
Yeah.
Well,
than on Xbox.
on Steam, I mean, they discount stuff so deeply that you're like, shit, $5, even if I never play it, what the hell? And I have bought so much in past Steam sales. I think I've got close to 200 games installed by Steam, and I think if you added all my cumulative playtime up, I would be embarrassed to see what the average is per game. But it's one of those like, well, at that price I can't pass it up. And to Jammer's point, I didn't see much if anything, in the Xbox sale that made me go, ooh, that's a deal I can't pass up.
I got the first Tomb Raider remake on Steam for $5, and that was such a steal because it was such a great game. And there's
I got it for
nothing
free
like
on
that out
Games
here.
with Gold.
Yeah, well, later down the road, but there's nothing like that they run out there. And I think they're trying to do the same type of thing and get people excited, but you got to hit better price points. Even if you give me some old games and, throw them at me for $10, but I think the problem I have on the console is if it's a good game, I'd already bought it at 60.
That's part of it because, I mean, let's face it, with the multiplayer games, we're getting it on launch. The other thing is, they don't really seem to discount the smaller games like Steam does. I mean, Xbox, they had a small sale on Arc and it was like, what, $24, I think. Steam brought it down to $16.50.
Yeah, I think, in terms of indie games, like Party Hard, I would have snagged that had that been, $5 or something. But, what did they do? Knocked it down from 14 to 12? That's, to me, granted, the difference between, $5 and $12 isn't going to change my lifestyle, but there's sort of like a matter of principle to it. If you're not going to discount this thing by 50%, you're just kind of insulting me. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was kind of disappointed. PlayStation, they're not discounting some of their games. I mean, we didn't see some discounts on some of their heavy hitters in this sale in the 2 weeks that they ran. It was kind of disappointing. Yeah, and really, I didn't even buy a hell of a lot off of Steam this year because I think I'm starting to run out of games on Steam that are in my wheelhouse that are on sale. Just because we're getting to the point where with 80 games, I'm starting to run out of a lot of shit on my wish list.
Yeah.
Although I did get the BioShock bundle.
I love you.
I'm gonna finally right my greatest gaming wrong in that I've never played BioShock.
That's the only reason why I always abuse you.
Well, now you're running out.
Well, you gotta wonder on
Just
some of
pull
these
away
games where there's a major plot twist. Like, what is the statute of limitations before you can talk about something like that?
Well, here's the deal. I'm old. I forget shit. Somebody's probably already told me the plot twist. I can't remember. By the time I get around to playing this game, unless somebody tells me like the day before, I'll forget.
It's a very valid point. How many times has he fallen into one of my traps when you know what's coming, and yet he still goes down the path, and then I snap and rip him?
Sometimes I just like to see you have fun.
That's why you're a good friend of mine.
I do these things for my friends.
That's right. BioShock's such a good storyline anyway. I'd watch it again just to go through the story.
I love you too.
Yeah.
A whole lot of love tonight.
Oh, Greg
So
sees that all
I think
the
we'll
time.
probably have an opportunity to talk more about BioShock when we get into talking about remakes. And
We will.
bastards.
We will.
I'm going to save my venom for that topic.
Yeah, my reason for buying the bundle will be revealed a little bit later in the show. So,
But so all of us say Steam sale, yay! Xbox sale, PlayStation sale, boo.
Well, you know what? I will say where I spent my money on the Xbox sale was backward compatibility. And I think this is a place where Microsoft and publishers have a chance to sort of strike. I think the nostalgia that we have for some of these games, that we enjoyed on the 360, like I snagged Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2. I might not even play it again, but $10, what the hell? If I play it one night on a GRG gaming night, it was probably worth it. And I think that's where most of the excitement will be for me in future sales.
See, I think what happens though, even though that kind of gets to you there, on the Steam world, I think we're not as inclined to get a release right when it comes out with a lot of games on Steam, where the console, we're more ingrained to get at launch. And so that hurts you there, where there's a ton of games on Steam that I've never seen, I've never touched, I've never played. Obviously, the catalog is a lot larger as well because it's PC based and it's going back years and years and years and years. But I think that's part of the play too. Is that at least as an older gamer, we all tend to buy a console game more on the launch side than wait years down the road.
Why do you think that is?
Well, for us, I think it's partly being in a gaming community where all of us are looking for the shiny penny all the time and talking about a game, and then people get excited about a game. So then we feel compelled that we should get that game at that time to play with the community, especially in a multiplayer side where it's a rush to play it and then it withers away. So like a game like an Overwatch, say, that's really not really a pointed game to get a year from now, because people have moved on and the community is not going to be as large for it then. That doesn't seem to happen as much on the Steam side.
Probably because Steam has a lot more, where the consoles have really pushed to multiplayer. Yeah. Steam has not forgotten. Some of us just want to play a single player game once in a while.
Thank God Lala's not on.
Yeah. But I mean, a city builder, cities, skylines, that doesn't lend well to multiplayer. That's a game I want to pick up and play for about 20 minutes, come back, pick up and play a little longer, build my city, keep expanding my empire. Civilization, you can still play the multiplayer aspect, but let's face it, I mean, my dad's been on the same damn single game of Civ for 2 years, where he just keeps on pecking away and pecking away and pecking away. It's those kind of games really lend better to PC, and Steam hasn't forgotten that gamer.
Yeah.
And speaking of a backwards compatibility, we'll talk about the big news in Xbox gaming and big news in gaming this week in a slow week. It's finally happened. Red Dead Redemption.
I thought you were going to say Skate 3.
Is backwards. Red Dead Redemption is backwards compatible. We can now play it on our brand new consoles. We can play a game that came out, 8 years ago?
With assless chaps.
Assless chaps, there we go. And that is exactly why we're all wanting to play it. But so Red Dead, it is finally here. It has been rumored for 6 months?
It's like all the time, that one.
You can get out onto YouTube about once a week and find some video of somebody claiming to show that they've got it on their install screen.
Yeah.
It has been pretty insane with that. And it's almost like the community finally just beat them down enough that they're like, we have to give it. Especially after E3 when they didn't announce Red Dead 2. I
was really sort of expecting that they were going to announce a remaster of this, just because after was it Rocksteady that does the Batman games? After that, the Batman thing, it seems, and of course we'll talk about this in a few minutes, to be sort of a trend, and I applaud Rockstar for going this route and just saying, hey, it's a great game, it's aged well, we believe, we're going to release it backward compatible, and guess what, it's on sale this week for $7.50. Go get it.
I rebought it for $7.50. That goes back to the Steam sales we were talking about. $7.50 to me for a game like that, that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
I mean,
I found my disc.
I can't. Yeah, I don't have my disc anymore.
I found my disc,
and I did not play a ton of that game. So
I think I made about a third of the way through, and I've got the Undead expansion, and I haven't played that at all. So I'm pretty stoked.
See, I got the game of the year, so I'll have the Undead and all that on there. So, by the way, which one of you called it Grand Theft Auto?
Nebraska.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Nebraska.
I don't know if the game takes place in Nebraska, but
yes, Farming Simulator.
Thought I'd bring Grex in on that one. I think I was before he joined us on the call on Skype. So I think
what's interesting to me about Red Dead, and John, it kind of bridges it to where we talk about our main subject, but Rockstar has had massive success by remastering Grand Theft. So it is interesting to me that they did not do the same thing with Red Dead because of the success that Grand Theft still is having.
So I've got an opinion on that, but if we have more stuff to talk about before we get to remasters and remakes, I'll hold my retort.
No, go ahead, because I got one too.
they released that while the 360 was still essentially a platform. I mean, what they did is it was not exactly a simultaneous 360 and Xbox One platform release, but I think GTA 5 still had that new car smell on it from the 360 when the next one came out. I mean, I traded in at Target my copy of GTA 5 for the 360, and I think I got a $40 credit towards GTA 5 on the Xbox One. So, to me, that wasn't like, they waited some, period of time and were milking things. I think they said, hey, you've moved to the new platform. Here's some improved visuals for you. Go for it. So I'm willing to cut them some slack that I'm not willing to cut 2K in terms of remakes or remasters.
You cheese-loving bastard.
I also think I still maintain before the gaming show circuit is done in October, I think, with like Tokyo or Paris, I think ends the 2016 round of gaming shows. I really think before we're done, I think Rockstar announces Red Dead 3, the sequel to. I think this is the first move. Get everybody playing Redemption. Get it back in the minds. Then one of these shows in the next couple months, boom, new Red Dead. Talking about it for 17, 18, whenever. But get them thinking about it and then drop the bombshell. This seems like Rockstar's move. I have a gut feeling this is Rockstar's MO here, is to get everybody thinking about it, playing it again, and then, oh, by the way, next gen version coming soon.
I just don't think, though, Red Dead is so popular that if they had gone the remaster route, like it or not, a huge percentage of us would have been all over it.
Oh, I agree. I just think their resources are probably plugged in on.
I hope so.
On the next gen, the new version.
I like riding my horse with Cowboy Grex. I hold on to him really
bareback?
tight.
Only bareback.
Yes. I twist one nipple if I want him to take a left. I twist the left nipple. I twist the right nipple if I need to take a right.
Wow.
That was a
detail. Little too much info.
That was a bridge too far, my man. A bridge too far.
My God. On that note, gaming calendar, upcoming events in July. Other than Grex and Jammer's really twisted games. Over at the events calendar on grimreapergamers.com/grg-events, we have a lot coming up. Obviously, every Wednesday night is community night. We've had good Overwatch and Ark representation on those nights, even some Battlefield once in a while. On alternating Thursdays, the Thursdays we're not recording the ReaperCast, so that'd be the 14th and the 28th of this month. We are running Battlefield 4 nights. So getting the pump primed for Battlefield 1 coming out. Lala Calamari is going to be hosting some Battlefield 4, probably see Vikes and a host of others on every other Thursday. Coming up Tuesday the 12th, speaking of GTA, the new DLC is out, or will be out on the 12th, the Cunning Stunts DLC. Stunts, all kinds of jumps and crazy tracks, new vehicles. Check that out on the forums at forums.grimreapergamers.com for the video. But July 12th at 9 Eastern, I will be hosting a new GTA night. Expect to see more GTA coming up. And as always, the sexy one is hosting Halo on Monday nights. Grex will be your host as everybody shoots each other in the face. Grex, what's the new firefight mode like?
It's good. They've significantly amped up the difficulty from the beta, and it's tough. I mean, if you go in there with randoms, don't expect to finish all 5 rounds. Because even when we had a full team, it was still pretty tough on some of the maps. I mean, they made it they made it quite hard to get to the final end, the final round for the win. So it's fun though, definitely a fun time.
I need to join in with you guys. Not this coming Monday. I'm going to be out of town, but after that, I got a few weeks I can join you on Mondays before bowling starts again, and then
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if it's still free. I think they had it. I think they had it for free for a while. You can download the game. But
yeah, the free week I think ended. I think that ended the 6th.
yeah.
So it ended last night. So, but it might still be on sale. I can't remember. Or is that might be Master Chief Collection that's on sale?
Master
right
Chief
Yeah,
Collection. I
Master
think.
on. We don't want to. Do we endorse other sites and tell them where to find this stuff cheap?
I know you got 2 admins here. Let them make the call.
now. Is it Cheap Ass Gamer?
Well, you can find a link to it on Cheap Ass Gamer, but it's cdkeys.com.
CD
It's got it
keys
for like
is fine.
$8.99.
Yeah, I've done CD keys before.
But it's,
Yeah, I've done CD keys.
I mean,
for my
it's been
5.
on sale on CD keys for probably 3 weeks. So, I mean, that's about how long it was since I got it. So, apparently, they're not blowing the doors off with this $8.99 deal.
Yeah, they run them for a while too. I mean, they run live sales for quite a while too. That's where I got my last year of live.
Oh yeah, it's 50% off until the 11th for Halo 5.
Oh, okay. So you got till Monday. Perfect timing. Halo night.
Yep, exactly.
Just download it during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's huge. So,
I'm sorry.
check the events calendar for any other events. We'll be adding more in the near future.
Speaking of huge, it shows how games have come over time because Red Dead is only like 6 or 7 gigs. It's crazy.
And that's a big
It's
game.
a huge game, and it was like when I bought it again, it was like 7 gigs. That's it.
Of course, last gen textures versus this gen
Yeah, it's all the graphics.
takes up a lot of,
It shows.
The texture packs on the texture mods on Arc. Those suckers are huge compared to just the basic graphics with mostly data.
Well, you need the poop balls to look realistic. Don't you?
We like realistic poop on
Yes,
that
you
game.
do.
All right, let's get to we're about nearly half an hour in the show. Let's get into our main topic for the night. Finish off with that. Clem, you kind of hinted towards it a little bit ago. The big topic tonight, this is one that you actually came up with on our forums. So let's talk about remakes, remasters, reboots. What do we think about them? What deserves a remake? What shouldn't have been remade? Let's start with what games deserve remakes. Does anything deserve a remake? And if so, what?
Well, I'd like to kind of define a remake versus a remaster, and I think it's a little harder to do with games sometimes than it is like a movie. Like a movie remake, you had like Gus Van Sant redid Psycho, and Rob Zombie
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Oh, I was gonna say Rob Zombie and Halloween. Where it's kind of like they're starting from. It's a new thing. It's not taking something that exists currently and, bringing it, up to date. I think, if you were to take some of the things like Casablanca or Lawrence of Arabia, where they've gone back and cleaned them up, or even if you took, the original Star Wars trilogy minus the bullshit CG, Muppet stuff that was added, but, the cleaning up of, some of the TIE fighter fights and things like that. I think that is a remaster, whereas, the other things are remakes, if that makes sense. And I think for gaming, sometimes that line is blurred because sometimes there's a little bit of both in them. So that said, I think a remake is when you take something that hasn't existed, for maybe a generation or two of games. So it's got to be a little bit older, and it needs to be brought up to date substantially. It's not just a case of, taking it from 480p to 1080p or something like that. Is that
Good example of that? The recently released, well, I guess in the last year, the Qbert game that just hit Xbox recently and has been on PS for a while. they've got a remaster there. You know, new types of boards, a little bit different enemies, stuff like that.
I was thinking like the new
Or
Wind
remake,
Waker
I mean.
on the Wii U. You know, they took something that was from the GameCube. It wasn't from the Wii. It wasn't just like the last gen backward compatible type thing. They went back 2 generations. They took something that was a 4:3 aspect ratio and 480p, and now it's 16:9, 1080p. You know, to me, that's a remaster, and I think a worthy one because now it's what 10 years old or older than that.
Yeah, but Cubert was about 25 years old though.
I always had a problem with the diagonals on the joystick on that.
Yeah, that got a little interesting, but the Atari version got easier because you could actually move your controller.
So I've actually I come over the last couple of days since you invited me as a guest. I compiled my brief list of things that I think really could use, a remake. Monkey Ball, I think for the current generation, there hasn't been a Monkey Ball on the Xbox since the original Xbox. Another Xbox game that I just loved as a party game was Kung Fu Chaos. I don't know if you guys ever played that. That was a 4-person party game where it was this horrible director making a B movie from all these different genres, and it was a fighting game, like Power Stone or something like that, but in these really dynamic sort of movie-based locations. From back in the old PC days, I would say like Crusader No Remorse and Crusader No Regret. I don't know if you played those. Those were from Origin. I'm not getting any looks of like acknowledgement.
No, Crusader. I do remember. It took me a second, but I do remember I had no remorse.
You had that red armor.
I skipped No Regret.
Red armor.
Yeah, I had remorse.
And then, interestingly, I just saw one of the things that are on my list. There's a Kickstarter project to do a remaster of it, which is System Shock. So I think if you took like System Shock 1 and 2 and brought those up to current gen graphics, and controller schemes, I think that would be pretty slick.
You mean from Ken Levine, who was involved in BioShock?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, even though I'm going to get ripped apart because I will buy BioShock, minus early console on when they're still working on things, I don't want anything old. I want new stuff. I move on to games. I don't go back. Now I know I listen to even other podcasts, and there's people that'll play like Mass Effect, multiple different times to see the different outcomes and everything like that. That's not me. When I'm done with a game, I move on. Minus BioShock, which is my favorite. So none of us. What was this? Year 3 now on the console.
Yeah.
Year 3, and not only BioShock, but they're still throwing out, remasters on it. It's insane. It's gotten to the point where it's insane. There wasn't that many of them during the 360 course that I can remember that were, Xbox remasters.
No, I don't recall any on the 360. It was all sequels.
Yeah. Even though we want new IPs, where are the sequels now? Right? Like year 3 of a console, and we're just remastering old games that were on the 360 that they want to make prettier. Skyrim and, BioShock and Gears not too long ago. And they continue to do that. By year 3, you should be looking at sequels and new IPs.
So
Grex.
You bring up a good point with the remasters, and I think what they're doing with a lot of the remasters is extending their development cycle for their new IP that they're trying to bring out. So I think like we saw with Halo and stuff like that, they're trying to bridge gaps. And I think the public is looking for games on a more frequent basis. And they're looking, I think, for development cycles to come quicker. I think that we have more games coming out more frequently now than we did back then. And I think they're using remasters to bridge those gaps. Because they have a very short development cycle to get those out. So that's
it's a fair point, but I think what happens to us is that we tend to forget about those other games and focus on the remasters because the ones that are remastered are very popular games from the past. So that's always going to draw our attention compared to other games getting released, I think.
So I think, in terms of the remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, they needs to be a certain age, something that a appeals to my nostalgia, and it's been so long. Like when you haven't seen a movie in forever and you watch it, you're like, oh shit, I totally forgot about this part. I think it needs to be old enough that there's that, old enough that no matter how good it is, you look at it and you're like, good God, this looks like ass. You see the old version. And then also, that there's some sort of dated element to the gameplay, like how it saves. Like, oh, you can only go into a restroom to save, or something like that. I think, if there's something that you look at that was sort of a significant flaw in the gameplay that is also addressed. To me, if you kind of hit that trifecta where it's, you've hit the nostalgia, it was a great game then, it's still a great game now, you've made it pretty, and you've fixed some sort of gameplay flaw with it, I'm pretty much on board. What I'm not on board with is this BioShock collection.
I'm sorry.
We knew it was coming.
Disconnected.
he paused there waiting for the comment.
You know what, and as far as the console one, I have to agree as far as BioShock, because let's face it, that is way too much. The one where I'm not griping, and this is why I bought the bundle on Steam, is because they are giving it to PC. People on PC who have it, they are giving it away to them. And let's face it, you're getting a raw deal on consoles. I'll admit it. You are absolutely getting a raw deal on the console to pay for $60 for something PC gamers are getting for free that just bought it for $10.50 on Steam this week.
Where are people
or last week.
Why is anybody shitting on Skyrim?
I'm getting to that one too.
Can we finish shitting on BioShock first?
No, we're moving on.
Yes, let's finish shitting on BioShock.
Co-host, damn it. Moving on.
What chaffs my ass on BioShock is, first of all, I bet if you fired this thing up on the 360, it still looks pretty damn good. It was a stunning game when it came out, and I don't think it has aged poorly.
That's like 8 years ago, I think.
It was
like 2008, 2007.
I think it was visually, it was ahead of its time. I mean, it was so immersive. So I question how much better looking it's going to be, whether it's going to be significant. I'm sure it's going to look better, but these three titles were all in the banner ad for backward compatibility when they announced backward compatibility. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who then sort of preemptively bought them during one of the sales. I mean, hell, they're on sale this week during the Xbox sale, and I maybe I'm stupid for taking a gamble and thinking that it would actually go backward compatible when they said it would go backward compatible. But I don't know that it deserves to be repurchased for $60.
Yeah, me neither. Even though mine's pre-ordered.
And I will agree, it does not deserve to be repurchased for $60. It does not. It especially, and you bring up a great point, because not only was BioShock among those games, the BioShock trilogy, there were several games that have been mentioned as backwards compatibility that we haven't seen, and we magically see some remasters. Skyrim was another, so that's another one that
and I'm probably not going to get Skyrim just because I've got it on Steam. I've put it falls in that single player category where we talked about, where I'm comfortable, just as comfortable sitting in my desk chair as I am on the couch to play that. The thing that's tempting though is the mod support. I think what you're paying more than anything for is $60 for mod support.
And I will just say, BioShock, because I will defend it to the end, it really actually is $20 a game, because you're getting 3 games and the DLC in the pack.
Okay. So if we're gonna keep beating this horse,
$20 a game. It's not 60.
Bioshock 2 was not that good.
No,
right.
Bioshock 2 is not, but Infinite's really good as well.
All right, and Infinite, I haven't played more than about I think maybe 20% of, but I purchased it thinking it would be backward compatible. Two never captured the feeling one for me. Ken Levine wasn't part of 2, was he?
No, Ken Levine was not part of 2.
No, he came back for Infinite.
There was just
Infinite's up there with the first one.
so in 2 I never had that fear. I mean, in 1 you had that when you'd hear a Big Daddy, you would break out in a sweat. You would kind of maybe squeak out a tiny little poop in your pants.
Yeah, I was gonna say you stopped short of saying shit yourself, and I think that's
but I just never had that in 2.
The holy shit moment in Infinite is at the end, comparatively to the middle of the first one. So you have to get through really Infinite towards the end.
So there you go, Johnny. There you know when to expect the surprise.
He doesn't know where the middle is.
That's true. And back to Skyrim, if you've got the DLC on Steam and the game and all the DLC, then pardon me, you're getting it for free. So, and again, where the console buyers have to buy it for $50-$60, I got it, $20, I think, on Steam last year.
Well,
or 2 years ago.
Some of the graphical mods, even if you're talking about not, like adding lightsabers or, for the sake of trademark violations, laser swords, just some like the water effects and shit like that people have done are just stunning on the PC. Plus if I can't import my save from Steam, over, which I'm sure I can't. I mean, I've probably got north of 200 hours into Skyrim on Steam. That's not something I'm willing to repeat on the console.
But see, basically, it's a reskin on Steam. And I mean, there's going to be some extra stuff, but it becomes an update on Steam. So probably you'll be able to play your save game on Steam. Be my guess. But again, you're getting the shaft as a console buyer and that as a console gamer. That's ridiculous.
So let me ask this as I look through some of my other titles. What do you think of? All right, I'm not thrilled about Resident Evil 5 or 6 being re-released on the Xbox One. But what about Resident Evil 4? Since that was a GameCube game.
I still wouldn't go back. I tend not to go back. Even
did you play it on the GameCube?
Not all of it, but most of it.
Okay.
But I'm not one to go back. It's like, to me, going back to an old game, unless it's something like Halo. I had never had an Xbox. I had a PlayStation before that. Yeah. So at the 360 point, I went and played Halo because Halo's such a massive franchise that I hadn't touched. Out of Resident Evil, am I going to go to 4? I know in popularity, but you know what I'm saying is like you'd probably just play the most recent one.
So you never go back into Facebook and look at your old girlfriends and think, I wonder.
No, they all look at me, and then they see a picture with me with Grex, and they say I should have been with that guy instead.
And they're talking about Grex, right?
Yeah.
Grex is quite stunning.
I get back in there.
That's why I picked, or had on my list, all of the things that I listed as things that I wouldn't mind seeing are, they didn't come from the Microsoft family of consoles, and they're old, I think that's what sort of differentiates what I'm interested in terms of a remake or remaster from the Batman and the Skyrim and the what's that other one? BioShock? Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, the Batman games are secondary to me to the BioShock games, but I'm not getting that one. It's just not. It's not worthy to me, even though I love the Batman series. They did a fantastic job with those games. Even the Arkham Asylum one was phenomenal. They finally captured that superhero type of game. I wouldn't get that one, and that's second place to me probably all time.
For me, it has to be a game changer, something that I'm really missed out on because I either didn't have the console or like with BioShock because I chose a different game that was another game changer in Fallout. So I kind of missed out on that series because I got wrapped up in Fallout. So if it's something like that, but then again, BioShock, I wouldn't be getting it for $60, guaranteed. I'll get it for $10.50 on Steam, get the remaster in September. Skyrim, I'll get it because they're giving it to me. That's it. Is there anything but I mean, when we're talking about what we may wish was remade or anything, you said.
GTA is the one that I think we're all very happy that we bought a remaster on that, because they've continued to support it and throw new we're doing it again with these tracks and everything. They didn't just remaster the game and then sell it back out at $60 for you to play the single player campaign. They said, now let's make some money on the shark cards and let's keep throwing product DLC out at you. And they've continued to support it.
Yeah, we've basically gotten 5 games out of that damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, that one I don't feel so bad about, and like Clem, like you said, we were able to trade ours in for $40 and get, we're down to $20 for the remaster. Yeah, so it's not as bad.
I mean, it's a great point that Jammer made. The amount of fan service that Rockstar has given, it just blows my mind. I mean, I haven't played GTA Online much just because I've found plenty of other stuff to keep me busy, and I regret it because I'm always getting the emails from the Rockstar Social Club. It seems like every couple of weeks with some new stuff, and I'm like, wow, I ought to be playing this. So yeah, I don't feel a penny of regret on my trade in from GTA 5 up to the Xbox One.
Well, don't worry, because you will have plenty of chances to play online. We will give you that because I'm going to be adding GTA nights.
Tell our listeners, Johnny, where can they join us?
GrimReaperGamers.com. Check the events calendar. We already have the 12th set up. I will be setting up at least one more in July, probably on the 26th. And maybe another one peppered in there somewhere as well, because let's face it, that game gives us what we are all about. Screwing around, doing stupid crap, and really sabotaging what somebody has for an idea. Grex, what do you have a wish list?
I do. I have 2 games that I was thinking about when we talked about when you first put up the agenda about games you want to remake, and I started thinking about some of the really older titles that I used to play when I was younger that I'd love to see brought up to speed, because I think they were just a little too ahead of their time when they came out. One of them was a game called Syndicate. I don't know if you guys remember that game.
Yeah,
but they had a bad remake of that one too.
Yeah, well,
it made a shooter out of it. We'll get to that in a few seconds.
Yeah, it's not even worth bringing up because it wasn't the same game at all. What I want to go back to is that top down. You had the 14-man. You got to upgrade your guys as you want. You do missions. And the AI was
strategy elements
dumber than rocks. I mean, it was just bad. I think with the power that they got today, they can one-up that and make that AI a lot better, even though AIs are still dumber than shit most of the times. But that game is one game that I'd really like to see come back and get remade into a little modern day. And the other one was, no, I'm completely blanking on it, but it was a story-driven game. It was called Hell, a cyberpunk thriller, and it's puzzle, sort of like Myst, but it was more darker, and it was a story-driven puzzle murder mystery kind of.
What was it called?
Hell, a cyberpunk thriller.
Okay, I did not play that.
But it had a lot of top-name actors from the time, and I can't remember any of them right now, but I just remember the reason why I picked up the game was because they had a lot of actors in it that I liked seeing in movies and stuff like that, and they had transposed them into the game, right? So they had, in the technology of the day, they tried to digitally put these faces into the game as characters, and it was more like a mystery, psychotic thriller kind of story-driven game. And I'd like to see something like that redone. And I guess it's more like Hard Rain, but we don't get stuff like that on Xbox too often, where it's more like a cinematic experience.
Yeah, you get a lot. Well, Cage makes those for PS. So, Jammer, you got a couple.
Well, I have two. One is actually a 360 launch game that I think remastered on the Xbox One would be really cool, and that's Condemned. Condemned was
Ooh,
really
That
like kind of
scary.
it was scary on a 360. Now imagine putting that into today's graphics. And then the other is more old school is the Wing Commander series.
Oh, the first two Wing Commanders before they added Mark Hamill and all the
Oh, I like that
Blue
stuff with
screen
Mark
stuff.
Hamill though, and what's his name, Biff.
Biff.
Yeah. I would like that too. But I love the Wing Commander stuff. That'd be
Well, he's too busy. He's too busy making millions on Kickstarter and then milking them for more after. So,
What was the one you said
which is
before
too
Wing
bad.
Commander?
Condemned.
Yeah, like I still, periodically you have those gaming moments that just stick with you forever. And there's that moment where you're walking through all of like the mannequins,
Mm-hmm.
and you turn around, and all the mannequins have gotten closer to you. Like they're not moving, but every time you turn away from them and turn around, they're closer. And then with the lighting in that, that was some scary shit.
And that was
Sounds
that
like
was
the
launch
Weeping
title.
Angels off of Doctor Who.
Yeah. So that's launch title. Now imagine that now Xbox One upgrading that.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
that'd be pretty good.
All right, let's now from what should be or what we wish would be. How about the things that, God damn it, they shouldn't have been? We already talked about Syndicate's first-person shooter that was god awful and a disgrace to the franchise and set it back quite a ways. What else do we think? God, why? I'll start the boat. Duke Nukem.
Okay.
They should have never done it. It was fucking terrible.
I'll be honest, even going back when they released the original PC Duke Nukem as an Xbox Live Arcade title, I forgot how unfun that got after about the first chapter. Like, the first chapter is kind of cool. All right, yeah, we got a lot of movie references in there, and you're finding all the secret areas. But by the time you got past what was the shareware portion on the PC, that became unfun. And then how many years did they wait before they did the new one?
Oh, let's see. That was what was it, about 15?
Yeah. Something like that.
I got it for free and I felt ripped off. It was just it was terrible. It was god awful. Anybody else? I got another one or two.
I don't know. Maybe you'll trigger something.
Let's see. There was God dang it, now I'm blanking a tad bit. I remember there was a Space Invaders remake that was just god awful. They tried to do like a 3D top down type of thing that was just bad. But there was also Sonic's had a few bad remakes or reboots.
I must be just really good at blanking them out of my mind.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm just still so pissed off about BioShock that just sort of overwhelms my whole cortex.
There was let's see. There was also Syndicate, Sim City.
Oh, there you go.
Sim City. EA's Sim City was the biggest piece of shit.
4, right?
Well, yeah. Well, no, 5.
Was that what it was?
It was after 5.
5.
It was after 4 where they renamed it back to Sim City. God awful. And I know I've made the comment that City Skylines is the real Sim City 5, and there is a reason for it. EA screwed the proverbial pooch on this one by releasing. First, it was broken. Then it was, patched and it got up to half-assed. And then it was patched again, and it was, it would have been a decent mobile game.
See, actually, I kind of enjoy that one because you were so angry about that I just was so entertained for like months hearing you complain about that game.
But see, it was
awful.
The entertainment was my reaction. It wasn't anything they did except completely fucking
You
up.
couldn't even play the game at first because you had to be online and the servers were shot.
Servers were shot and the gameplay mechanic was broken.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. There was also a Shadowrun remake back in the mid 2000s or so that I think they tried to make that I think they tried to make it a shooter.
Yes, yeah, that was junk.
Garbage.
So
Those are
here's
the
one
ones.
that goes. It's way back, but maybe older gamers will remember both the original and then the remake. But Zork, like Zork, was originally a text adventure from Infocom. Great stuff. I think I played it back when I was about 14, and then I think they tried to make it into a full motion video, CD based game. That was junk, but that's probably obscure enough, and we're all way too old. Never mind.
There goes the
I remember
demographic.
Zork. I didn't play the remake. That's the only.
One of the things
PlayStation game.
Greg said that I got to throw out, because when he talked about Syndicate, I think that was published by Bullfrog, which was a division of EA,
Yes.
back in the day. One of the Bullfrog games that I loved, it was Magic Carpet and Magic Carpet 2. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but it was a first person shooter, but you're flying on a magic carpet and you're shooting fireballs and various spells at mythological creatures. It was pretty amazing for the time, but I think it ran in 320 by 200 or something like that. So definitely meets the criteria for it would benefit from a graphical update.
Where's the Oregon
Speaking
Trail one?
I
Oregon Trail.
said Zork. That predated Oregon Trail.
I did love that.
Yeah.
By the way, you just reminded me of one I'd love to see remade, if done right, and that's Populous from Bullfrog.
Well,
The original
Goddess,
God game.
Goddess came out, and that was sort of supposed to be the remake.
Well, and so was Black and White from Peter Molyneux.
Molyneux
and
is, oh my God, that guy can make some promises, can't he?
he's got, if he could ever get what's here in his head to his keyboard and into his computer, it would be amazing. But Black and White was another one that, that was his first attempt at remaking Populous, and it didn't work. Goddess, as you mentioned, his second. So those two can go into the bad remakes. But so let's go. What are our general feelings overall? We'll go around the group. Overall, general feelings about remakes, reissues, remasters.
Thumbs down.
Let's
Who are
start.
you starting with?
I just
Oh,
went
well,
with it
I guess
because I
Jammer
always
just
just
started,
blurt
so.
out. That's why he made me co-host. Just thumbs down overall. Give me sequels, even though I'm tired of those. Give me new IPs. Don't give me Skyrim all these years later. Give me a new Elder Scrolls game coming out next year rather than working on Skyrim.
All right, Greg, so what do you think about him?
I go back to what Clem said before about the difference between remakes and remasters. Remakes I'll do. Remasters I can push to the side. I'm not going to pay for something that's exactly the same, just beefed up graphics or whatever. But maybe a remake I would do if they're starting to really increase the playability of the game and things like that. So that's my feelings.
Clem.
Of course, I'm going to agree with Grex because he agreed with me proactively. And even though I said before the show started that I would argue vigorously against any one of Jammer's positions, I think I'm probably in the 80%. I would rather see new stuff. Even if it's a new, and for those of you listening, which would be everybody except those of us on this call, I made the air quotes. So new sequel. It's a continuation of something which I think is still a little bit weak. I would love to see more original IPs, but there are those rare occasions, like I mentioned before, where it's old enough and you've got that nostalgia factor. It was a great game then. I'm sure it could be a great game now if they prettied it up and added some, fan service or better controls, or they fixed some relic, like save game thing or something like that made sense back, when we didn't have big hard drives and it was just memory cards or things like that. but I think it kind of needs to hit on all of those things to really be worthy. This remaster thing that's going on now with games like BioShock, I can't get behind that.
As far as remasters go, we are in year 3. There's absolutely no reason we should have these, even though I am going to personally benefit from a couple of them. But again, like I said before, the only reason I'm getting them is because they are going to be given to me as a gift. Otherwise, could give a shit less. They should not be anywhere near my console, PC, whatever. Again, year 3. Year 1, I get it. You get some remasters, you get some things that they want to throw in there and make sure that people actually got to see out of the last gen. But after year 1, there's no excuse. That's lazily milking the fan base after that. Remakes, I'm not much better on them myself because, sequels are one thing. Remake, if it's something that hasn't been like 10, 15 years ago that may have been overlooked and deserves another chance, I'm really not for it. Sequels, we're never going to get away from them. That's all there is to it. So, look at that. We're in an hour. Jack will probably go nuts about this. He probably rage quit at about 40.
This is the best week ever. I would almost pay for Lala to go on a vacation again.
Should we add another topic?
Let's keep going.
Anybody else have
It's time to start talking baseball and wrestling and stuff, John. There's no Lala.
I actually
put that in the books?
and I mentioned this to you, Johnny. The idea of when you got a good topic like this, it's something deep that you can really sort of invest some time into. I like this idea of just taking one topic on a show and really exploring it. So it'll be interesting to see what our listeners and the other GRGers think of this one topic or one primary topic per show thing.
We will let we'll let Lala yell at you instead of us about it.
Yeah, we need to do another feedback thread and see if we can push some feedback both on Twitter and or the forums.
Jammer.
Speaking of the forums, we had a post before, and I should probably bump it. But this topic tonight was Clem and Rab were kind of having this discussion, and we actually had a thread asking for your ideas. Johnny and I we're not that bright. I mean, we can't.
Oh God, no, we're dumber.
We need you guys to give us topics, and we'll happily bring up topics that you guys bring to the table. That the only way we can continue to do the ReaperCast, if you enjoy listening to it, is from everybody's help. And one of those things is giving us subjects and things you want to hear old, stupid people rant about.
And that's the thing. This show has really evolved to what gaming is to the older crowd. So we need ideas from the rest of the old farts in the clan, as we are a 25 and older group. The rest of us that are too old for the Timmies, we need to get your ideas. So we'll bump that again. We have some really good ones. We actually have quite a few topics that'll carry us quite a while. And, this one was a really good one because I knew we could get a lot of talk out of it just because we're looking at, something that's rather divisive, I guess you could say, in the gaming world. So it's you get a lot of different opinions on that. So, and this is a good one for a slow news cycle to not really, where we don't have a whole lot of new releases to talk about. We don't have a whole lot of big game news to talk about because we're a little ways away from our next big gaming show. Big, production for Sony, Microsoft, and whoever. So, but I thought it was a nice one to flow through. So, and yes, I know Jack's probably saying move along. So let's milk it a little longer, folks. Seriously. Thank you guys for all your input on this. Really great points, good topic. And, I thought we had a pretty good show, guys. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought it was a lot of fun.
I think we could probably spend a few minutes, maybe 15, 20, just congratulating ourselves on how smart and good looking we are.
That's what gets the Lala tomato meter really high is when Johnny just starts taking forever to wrap up the show. So thanks, John.
Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
having me on.
Thank you all for being on. So let's talk a little bit of clan hype. Want to welcome the new members of the clan. We've had a handful. Little slow period for new membership with nothing major coming out until August, September-ish. Probably September.
Yes, BioShock comes
I
out in
think.
September.
I was thinking Destiny, the next Destiny expansion, but I was thinking more multiplayer for once instead of the single player that Jack would get pissed off about. But hey, just to remind you guys, we are 4 months away from Extra Life, so check us out at grimreapergamers.com. Extra Life thread under general discussion, and donate. It's for a great cause. It's for the kids. Children's Miracle Network. It's a great thing.
So I got an extra life question. Is this going to be like all the neighborhood kids trying to sell me Girl Scout cookies? I mean, I already gave money to Rab. Am I going to get harassed from the rest of you now?
I'll bug you.
Sorry, I gave to Rab.
Oh shit!
I gave it the office. Sorry.
Jeez, can't win. Can't fucking
So
win.
the Denver kids are taken care of.
Okay.
Well, Nebraska
Nobody cares
kids,
about
I mean,
Omaha. Nobody cares about Omaha. Our next show is July 21st. Tune in for it's recording on July 21st. You'll actually probably see it on the 22nd. Tune in for another great, enthralling topic.
to be determined.
And I think Evolve's going to be on that week.
I think so, yeah.
I believe. I don't know. I don't think we have anything else said. Jammer, you're out, aren't you?
No. I had my dates wrong initially.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's okay. So you, me, Evolve, and somebody and a couple others.
Oh, the tomato meat. His head is going to explode.
Hey, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/GrimReaperGamers. Also, check us out on the forums, forums.grimreapergamers.com. And our main website, of course, is grimreapergamers.com.
How many times can you say it?
And-
You say it 3 times fast now.
No, I'm done with that one. Next one's to you, Jammer. What's our Twitter handle?
Well, my friends from Battlefield who were tweeting to us, because we're buds now, we're tweeting to
Yeah, name dropping.
grgamers.com and spell out .dot. But my buddies at Battlefield who we talked to back and forth for a little bit.
Oh, look at that. He has BFFs now.
I got a big raise out of it too.
Won't ask.
Yeah.
You've already given us too much information before, so. All right. So, thank you, Clem, Grex, and Jammer. Appreciate you guys being on. Tune in for the next show in 2 weeks. Until then, my name is Johnny Hustler saying so long. Have a great 2 weeks. Get your game on.